Show you exactly what Bill taught me. So I'm not making this stuff up. This is what he said. This is the concept of wet on wet painting. Okay, now what I'm going to do just to show you, if this happened to be your canvas, you could just go in here and pick the pieces up off of your canvas if you have chunks, just like I'm doing right here with the jam. I'm not going to do the finger test on this, but what I am going to do is I'm going to scrape. See how much jam I got off? Let's put it down here. That's how much extra jam when I thought I'd put a light layer on. See this? Okay. And this is when we rubbed it into the bread, just like you rub it into the canvas. And then you scrape off the excess. So you have just sort of kind of like a stained canvas. The problem is we can't see it with the magic white because the magic white is white and so is the canvas. So I have scraped all this extra off, and I'm going to clean off my palette knife. This is fun. And then I'm going to come back and just do a test. Okay, did I get it all? Yeah, so there's nothing else coming off. And this represents thick paint. So this is like the thick paint that goes over the magic white. So here we go. Do you see how I can spread that right over the top of that? I'll get a little more. I can spread it right over the top because there's such a thin coat of jam on the canvas. Okay? If Bill was doing a painting, the jam would represent the magic white, and it can also represent the stain that he puts on the canvas, very little paint on the canvas for the background. This is the thick paint. I think I'll have to eat the sandwich when I'm done. And then I'm going to come back in with thin paint or jam. This is usually when Bill would pick up the paint and then he'd thin it a little bit with magic white. Okay, now I'm going to show you what happens if you put too much paint, or jelly in this case, on the first layer. So let's just take a lot of jelly and we're just going to put this on real thick, which is the way I happen to like it. This represents either too much magic white or too much background color when you tint and stain the canvas. Okay, now let's see how well we can lay thick paint on that, which is the thick peanut butter. This represents the thick paint. Look what happens when I try to lay that on there. Do you see how it just smears? And we can't do it. The reason why is the peanut butter can't grab the bread. It's slipping and sliding in the background layer. How important that thin coat is. How many of you have had canvases that feel like this? I started with bread that had texture like a canvas. I then laid a very, very thin coat. I mean, remember I scraped all the excess off? So basically I just stained the bread or stained the canvas. Then I went in with thick paint, meaning peanut butter, thick peanut butter with a light touch, and I laid it right over the top of that thin layer on the background. And then I came in, once I established that, I brought in a thin consistency, which is the jam, and laid it right over there nicely on the peanut butter or the thick paint.
We put the magic white on, that almighty magic white. We fired right on the canvas. We fired right on the canvas. See? You see there, we mix on this almighty canvas. We are mixing on this almighty canvas. First I put the white on. Don't put too much on. Too much is no good. Not enough is no good. Make sure you have the canvas covered nice, like this. Good. See now all that paint in the brush? Take a good look. Rid of it. Get rid of it. Okay, I will create a kind of a happy desert sky. Kind of a happy desert sky. A kind of a... Let that be on the bottom. You see how thin I do it? Just breeze the paint on. You always have to think, I have to paint on top of paint. I have to paint on top of paint. You see, there I will use a touch of blue, that other blue, and maybe here on top, just make it a bit of blue. We come down right into that You see, it goes over the blue, most greenish turquoisey tone. Hypnotize the whole thing. Like this. See? We will make this clear sky. It's like a bell. Like a bell. Maybe I will add a touch of red into that. Just a little touch of red that rotates, that gives you a little bit alizarin crimson, maybe alizarin crimson. See, that rotates the colors a little bit. See? There's a kind of a steam coming up there. Okay.